Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video. First things first, guys, make sure you smash the likes and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And in today's video, I'm going to be picking an England versus France combined 11 ahead of the big quarterfinal this weekend. There's a plethora of talent on show, the likes of Mbappe, Kane, Saka, Griezmann, Giroud. There's plenty of them on there, so it's going to be quite hard to kind of pick and choose which players from each side are gonna make the cut. We're gonna obviously not just do it on kind of who's a better player. We're gonna do it tournament form, balance of the team, etc. But Dharmesh, let's get straight into this, bro. Starting between the sticks, then. I mean, for me personally, I'd give the nod to Jordan Pickford. I think he's been in exceptional form this tournament. He's rarely put a foot wrong in an England shirt for me, particularly in major tournaments. Yes, I know Lloris has, become the all-time record caps holder for France, I think just over 140, which is a phenomenal achievement. But I always feel he's a goalkeeper that's got a bit of a mistake in him, and you can get at him. So for that reason, I'm probably just giving Jordan Pickford a nod for this one. Would you agree on that?
It's a tough one, to be honest. And yeah, thanks again for having me on, Charlie. But I don't know. I'd probably have to edge for Jordan Pickford as well. I think he's been quite good this tournament, and normally for an England shirt, he's usually good anyway. But saying that, Lloris has done well as well. But if we're going just based on this tournament, I'd probably say Jordan Pickford. But overall, probably I'd say Lloris is the better keeper overall. But yeah.
Oh, good. Jordan, we'll give it Jordan Pickford. Right, let's move on to the centre backs then. I wouldn't have expected to have this guy in here, but I'm going to put him in. I think Harry Maguire, he's for whatever reason in an England shirt, he very rarely lets you down. He always seems to be really good in an English shirt. I don't know what it is about putting that shirt on that brings the best out of him, but I think he's had a superb tournament. He's formed a great partnership with John Stones. England aren't conceding many goals at all, just the two. One from the penalty spot. He's a threat from set plays in the opposition box, and he's defended really well this tournament, and he's rarely been caught out. Obviously coming up against the likes of Mbappe, Giroud, Dembele, and stuff. That's going to be tough in this game. But overall, I think over Daya Upamecano or Konate, I'm giving one of those spots to Harry Maguire. Is Harry Maguire one of your two centre halves?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, as much as we banter him and slate him, he's been really, really good this tournament. Like, fair enough, he had that error in the first game against Iran, but I think since then, if we're nitpicking, that's already the error he's had. He's been exceptional. Otherwise, like when he wears an England shirt, he's just a different player, to be honest. Like, I think maybe it's because the pressure's sort of off him in a way, from like fans and stuff. And I think the players around him are obviously better than what he'd have at Man United usually. So yeah, I'd probably have to go with Maguire as well as one of the centre back slots.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, the other centre-back slot, I could make a strong case for John Stones. I think he's had a good tournament, but for me, I just think Varane's been a bit better. I'm going to give him the nod. Obviously, Man United teammates, Maguire and Varane. I just think Varane, he's got experience, he's got know-how, he's been there, he's done it before, he's won the World Cup, he's been part of a very good French side. Look, he's not quite the player he was during those glory years at Real Madrid. I think he has struggled at times at United, but I think in this tournament he's looked pretty assured, and I would just give him the nod over John Stones.
Yeah, this is a tough one actually. To be fair, I've watched more John Stones than Rafa Varane, but the times I've seen Varane, he's been absolutely flawless for France and stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't mind giving it to Varane, to be honest, but there's a very strong case for John Stones because I still think he's overall England's best centre back out of the bunch that England have. But yeah, it's quite hard to. I don't remember him making any errors when it's John Stones, and he's developed so much as a player as well compared to when he sort of broke through at Everton and stuff. And Varane's just like he's so good at the back end. He's intense, proper intense at the back. He's proper serial winner as well. He's won loads. He's directed and led teams as well, and I feel like potentially it could lead France to another World Cup. Maybe we'll see.
No, for sure. I mean, I think the right back's quite obvious. France don't really have a recognised right back. They've been putting Jules Koundé in there. They've been kind of experimenting with Benjamin Pavard. That's the one area where you think England could probably really target it. So for me, it's an obvious that Kyle Walker gets the nod there. I think he's very experienced. He's a top player. He's got great recovery pace. He gets forward well, and yeah, I think that's an obvious choice in the right back slot there. Kyle Walker. That's really the easiest one out of the lot. Nah, he's better than Trippier.
Oh, okay, interesting.
I think it's probably the easiest pick of the lot for me.
Yeah. How many games has Walker started this World Cup? Is it just the 2
Two.
he started?
Yeah, just the two.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough because when you associate England, you normally associate Trippier playing. That's probably why. But
Yeah.
I think Trippier has been really good as well. But yeah, Walker as well. He's like I've said him on your show previously as well. I think he's one of the most important players for England in terms of that experience, that versatility to switch from a 4 to a 3 as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can't argue with Carl Walker. To be fair, I think
And I think
having him back is such a bonus.
yeah, massive bonus. And for me at left back, despite Luke Shaw who's had a good tournament, I think for me, Teo Hernandez has to go in here.
Yeah,
I think he's
what
an
a player.
exceptional. I think he's an exceptional play. He defends well. He gets forward really well. He's one of France's best players. I love him. I think he's a great defender, great fullback. Defends well. I said gets forward well, attacks well. Has got a goal in him. And that kind of side of France of Teo Hernandez and Mbappe has been pretty lethal, and it is dangerous. So yeah, as good as Shaw is in an England shirt, for me, Teo Hernandez gets the nod over him.
Yeah, Teo Hernandez has been really good. Like past couple of games, he's been a threat going forward as well as defensively as well. And even the games against, let's say, Chelsea, in those sort of games where he floated as like a 6 or an 8 as well, which was quite interesting to see. He was playing that sort of inverted role you associate like a Pep Guardiola team to play, and I think he did that role really well. Like if we somehow have issues, well, us as Chelsea have issues at that sort of left back, left wing back slot, I'd want Teo Hernandez. I think he's probably number one. Like obviously he'll cost a lot of money, but he's a great player. Like can't argue with that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, moving into midfield, then we're going to start with kind of the holder of the three. And realistically, it's a toss up between Declan Rice and Tchouameni. I think both have had outstanding tournaments. There's really not an awful lot in it, and it's a really tough one to do. I think Rice has been phenomenal. He had a great tournament. Tchouameni again playing a lot more minutes at this tournament than he certainly would have expected. The likes of Pogba and Kante would have been shoo-ins in that France team if they were fit. So I think given the circumstances, I think he's done very well. Still relatively inexperienced at this level. I think he's been superb. But then Declan Rice has been faultless as well, pretty much. I mean, out of those two, who would you be picking?
Oh, that's interesting because I actually would have somehow got both of them in the team, and then maybe with Jude Bellingham with them. But if we're going off just one of them, it's hard. It's hard.
It is tough.
I'd probably just go Tchouameni, I think.
That's what I would have gone as well.
I think just because of the performance against the USA, maybe that's probably the only sort of criticism I can probably give Declan Rice is the amount of times he got bypassed, the amount of times he'd be slow on the ball. But that's really nitpicking as well. But yeah, I'd just have to say Tchouameni. Like I wish Chelsea signed him, to be honest. Like
yeah, mate, it still pains me. That still pains
me. So
me.
young as well.
Yeah. Talking of young players, I think Jude Bellingham is an absolute shoo-in. I think he's going to be the most sought-after player this summer. Phenomenally talented midfield player, 19 years of age, just everything really well. Box to box, he's got goals in him, energy, everything you could want from a modern-day midfield player. And I think he's had a really exceptional World Cup so far as well. It's kind of I think this is his breakthrough for England now. He's a shoo-in to start for England now for the next
has to be,
however many years he wants, and he walks into this combined 11 over the likes of Rabiot. Despite Rabiot, who's had a good tournament, in fairness to him, Bellingham 100% gets in. Actually, I say that Walker was the easiest pick. I think this one is probably easier. Bellingham definitely in there. In terms of the last midfield slot, then this is a little bit. I don't want to say it's tricky. It's not for me. It won't be Jordan Henderson. No Mason Mount or anything like that. I'm going to give it to what I would put is I'd slightly give it to Antoine Griezmann based on the fact that because Griezmann's been playing, he's been playing in a deeper role. So yes, it's kind of looked as a left side of a 3 or right side of a 3. Sorry, can sometimes become more advanced as a 10. I think he's had an exceptional tournament. And for me, I think that's kind of a good balance in there. So whilst, we are overlooking a few players, I think getting Antoine Griezmann in there makes it makes sense to me. And I think he's had a really good tournament so far. In terms of the forward line, mate, let's start with the centre forward. Giroud, who we're big fans of, obviously. He's going to be a handful, but unfortunately, it has to be Harry Kane. I just think he's a more complete player than Giroud is. Both have got their strengths, but I think ultimately Kane gets in this combined 11 over Giroud for me. Would you agree with that?
Oh, that's tough. If we're just basing this off the World Cup alone, I'd probably have to say Giroud, if I'm honest with you, Charlie.
Yeah.
I think just because the goals he's brought as well. Like obviously Harry Kane's got a bit more about in terms of playmaking, but I think if we're talking about goals, I think obviously Giroud. How many goals has Giroud got this World Cup now? Is it 3 or 4 he's got now?
It's 3, I think.
Yeah, and to be fair, he's done what he's required in terms of goal scoring, but you could also argue the same in terms of he hasn't got many assists, as Harry Kane, for example. Yeah, I don't know. It's really hard.
Tough.
Like,
It is tough.
It could somehow fit both of them in, but I don't think that's possible, to be honest.
No, it probably isn't. I think again, obviously on this left-hand side, Kylian Mbappe, top scorer in Ligue 1 at the moment, top scorer in the Champions League, top scorer at the World Cup, best player on the planet right now, hands down. Phenomenal talent. He slots straight in on that left-hand side. I don't even think there's not even a conversation to be had about it, really.
We should praise him, though. To be fair, he deserves the praise that he's getting.
He deserves it. I mean, he is an outstanding player. Right hand side's a little bit trickier now. We've got options here. We've got Dembele, who I think is playing some of the best football of his career, looks revitalised. You've got Bukayo Saka, who's having a very good tournament, and we've got the talents of Phil Foden as well. This is a really tricky one for me. I think all three would equally, in their right, deserve to be in. But for me, in terms of the balance we're looking at for this front line, I'm just giving the nod to Phil Foden just for that X factor, just because he can, how good he is in tight spaces, how good he is on the ball. I think he's got a different skill set to Saka, but I would probably say he's better footballer than Saka. And then between Foden and Dembele, I mean, I love Ousmane Dembele, but for me, Foden just has got something a little bit different. You don't really know what you're going to get from Dembele. He's both footed. He's a massive threat. But I'd probably just give it to Foden.
Wow, that is a tough one. You could easily make an argument and case for all three of them, to be honest, because I think they've all equally done well. I personally, I would give it to Saka. I think if this was I don't know. Yeah, I think I'd give it Saka, to be honest, because
fair.
I just think in an English shirt as well, for club and country, I think he's outstanding as well. Draws in defenders, takes them on. You can take on defenders, cross the ball really well. Can finish at the same time as well. But obviously his finishing is not as good as say Harry Kane, for example. But I still think he's such a threat on that right hand side. And it's criminal that Southgate took ages to play him as well. It's all these sort of players that we've put in, only now Southgate's starting to realise they're actually ballers basically. So yeah, I'd probably just give it to Saka, but yeah, I don't mind.
You can make a case for all three of them. It really is a toss up. But yeah, that rounds out the combined 11. Then we've got 6 from the 3 Lions and 5 from the French team. So yeah, I mean, it's tricky. You could have easily gone either way on a few selections. But yeah, just a bit of fun in today's video, guys. Let us know in the comments below if you agree or disagree with any of these selections. Dharmesh, thanks for your time as always, bro, guys. I'll catch you again soon in another video. Cheers.